We've seen that market coming under pressure, the market coming under pressure this week, falling once again 1,700 points to the negative. Is this a case of it being increasingly correlated to what's happening on the global scene, as many traders are citing? And where do you see the key pressure points for the market?
The market has been in a lull. Largely, we're seeing a lot of international selling, especially in the banks. So that has put a lot of pressure on the market. And on the other hand, locals are not actively involved in the market. They are largely on the sidelines, picking and cherry picking and looking for opportunities at the bottom end. So we're seeing a lot of supply coming in from the international, largely because a lot of the funds are probably seeing redemptions or trying to move into cash on the back of the crisis we're seeing globally. So that I think is going to be a pressure point on the market going forward. However, this opens up the market to more opportunities. Looking at the close yesterday, markets, Nigerian banks are trading at about 1x. I mean, largely in the banks in the tier 1 space. You had banks in the tier 2 space trading at about 0.7x book. Only GTB is trading at somewhere around 1.6x, and this is coming from about 2x or 2.2x. So I mean, the opportunity in the banking sector is very clear, and we think it's time for people to plug into the healthy names in that space.
Dele, we've been having a conversation about breweries in Africa today, and we know that in Nigeria there's an oligopoly with Nigerian breweries and Guinness holding the lion's share of the market there. Now, Nigerian breweries falling by 1.7% to 85 naira yesterday. Guinness closing flat at 215 naira. We've seen some strong appetite for Guinness though in the previous few sessions. You've currently got a hold rating on Nigerian breweries, but a buy on Guinness. Just give us a little more insight into what these valuations are based on.
We released a note this week on Guinness Nigerian breweries. We have a buy rating on Guinness at 303 naira. We have a hold recommendation on Nigerian breweries at 97 naira. So we effectively prefer Guinness to Nigerian breweries. However, the outlook for the sector is very positive. We think volume growth is coming through. We see Nigerian breweries adding capacity on, at that level, and also at the consolidated breweries level. And also we have Guinness going on expansion as well, aggressive expansion, and looking to add a couple more million hectoliters to the pipeline. So we're going to see a robust brewery sector with increasingly massive volumes coming through in the next few years.
When you talk about massive volumes, just give us an idea of the scale of capacity that a likes of Nigerian breweries is adding relative to what it has now, and on the other hand, what Guinness is adding as well.
Nigerian breweries is at currently 11 million hectoliters. We reckon by year end we're looking something around 13.5. Guinness is currently about 5.5. Should be adding an extra 1 million hectoliters, this at 6.5, and also still expanding in its Benin and Lagos plant. After they finish all the expansion at full capacity, they're looking to start a greenfield, which would be a minimum of 5 million hectoliters. So we see that the outlook for Guinness might typically go up to circa 11 million hectoliters in a few years. So we're seeing the volume growth coming through. You're seeing a young population, you're seeing a growing population. You're also seeing that Nigeria is the highest alcohol consuming market in sub-Saharan Africa. However, you're not seeing that trickle into the beer volume, largely because people don't have the sort of incomes. So you're seeing people are actually having more homebrewed beverages than actually beer. But we think that obviously now that we have a younger population and improving income stream, people will switch into beer and then move out of these homebrewed breweries that you tend to see on the streets.
And I'm sure both breweries keeping a key eye on SABMiller, who's made some strategic acquisitions in the country, also commissioning a new brewery there. Once that has come online, what type of scale of production will SABMiller have relative to Guinness and Nigerian breweries?
I think SABMiller is relatively still a small player, and will still be a small player with looking to add only about half a million hectoliters. So it remains very insignificant if you're looking at the big picture, with Nigerian breweries adding 3 million, Guinness also adding a couple of millions as well. So it remains a very small portion the market, and I think they would need to do so much more if they want to be a bigger player in Nigeria. I think the focus for SAB Miller is probably more their other African countries in the African space. So I don't think Nigeria is on the front burner for them. But I think they would remain a small regional player.
Let's move on to one more stock. We've got time for flour mills, also under pressure yesterday, down 2% to 83 Naira. That company commissioning a new sugar refinery, also looking to add a rights issue at the end of the year. Just give us a little more insight into what it's looking to raise this funding for.
Nigerian Breweries is doing a rights issue before the end of the year, looking to raise about circa 28 billion naira, largely to finance new opportunities. They're looking at fast-moving goods, breakfast cereal, something that, basically if you go to a shop and you carry a basket of food, you can basically have 5 or 6 items from flour mills. Effectively, we saw that we're seeing huge turnover growth. However, we had some struggles at the bottom line, largely from charges taking on the cement company and obviously on wheat prices. However, I think the outlook for the company is still strong. They're looking for more opportunities. We expect the sugar refinery to come on stream next year. And the noodle business is growing at 100%. So I think, the pipeline of businesses they have is robust. The cement business is at 70% utilization. And obviously they're going to move out of importation of cement into production. So I think by and large, it's positive for the company. But these are just short-term hurdles they need to cross in terms of cost from wheat prices and obviously the one-off on the cement.
As you say, looking to move up the value chain in terms of their food business there, we saw UACN forming that JV with Tiger Brands. Is this something that a flour mills would also be looking to do, partnering with an international company?
Well, they've reiterated that they're looking for international partnerships in areas where they don't have the expertise. So I reckon that they would be in discussions. I think what we saw in Tiger Brands is probably the same thing we're going to see in flour mills. I think what we need to understand is, when the competition does come, in terms of entry into the market, where do you want to be? So I think everybody's ramping up, getting prepared, carving their own market share. So people, you don't have anyone coming to penetrate that, and obviously looking for more opportunities to sort of do mass market and, penetrate the market, deeper.